right. Well, Venture Capital Trust Fund is targeting youth empowerment in the next 2 years to support government initiatives aimed at reducing growing youth unemployment. Now, the fund is expected to inject about $45 million through fund management firms in support of youth innovation and entrepreneurship. Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund, Yao Owusu-Brempong, will join us via Zoom with more shortly. But first, here is a report as he spoke to us after launching the Ghana Venture Capital and Private Equity Association in Accra.
Growing unemployment has been a concern for government in the past few years due to the security implications. Supporting startups and young entrepreneurs is expected to be high on the agenda of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, with a $45 million fund from the World Bank. According to Chief Executive Yao Owusu-Brempong, the processes will begin by the close of the year.
Venture capital can actually partner with a lot of fund managers to fund startup companies so that we can actually create a lot of entrepreneurs in the country. Fortunately for us, the Ministry of Finance has put us on the Ghana Economic Transformation Program, a program that is going to actually give us about 45 million USD that we are going to invest over the next 4 or 5 years. There are a lot more that will be coming in addition to the 45 million. Once we start accessing those funds, we are going to create a lot of funds in the area of youth entrepreneurship, women in entrepreneurship, and then even disabled or people with physical disability in entrepreneurship. So there are a lot more in the pipeline, and we believe the future is going to be bright for venture capital and for entrepreneurs and fund managers as well.
Launching the association, Head of Financial Services at the Ministry of Finance, Samson Akligo, described it as timely and urged members to remain committed to the operations of the capital market.
That the launch of this association is very timely and reflects the real values and essence of what we need to grow our country. The figure from the SEC and from the Bank of Ghana tells us that in practice we are way behind what we should be. When you look at the data that we have, and it's quite revealing, pension funds today, because of the reform that we have done, are just about 5% of GDP. We all know, unfortunately, the precursor to the development of venture capital and private equity funds, which are the collective investment scheme, the basic ones, that's just about 0.7% of GDP.
The Ghana Venture Capital and Private Equity Association is a private sector-led initiative that is open to all private equity and venture capital firms operating in Ghana.
And let's now engage the Chief Executive of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, Yao Owusu-Brempong, who joins us via Zoom. We're grateful that you could join us. What is the strategy in getting fund managers to support entrepreneurship in Ghana?
Hello?
You're loud and clear. I'm asking what the strategy is in getting fund managers to support entrepreneurship in Ghana.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon to my listeners. The strategy is to get as many fund managers as possible into the venture capital and private equity ecosystem. I think, let me take you back. Recently, a seasoned banker actually said that and startup companies have been approaching the banks for loans, and he believes that loans are short-term while startups need long-term capital, specifically patient capital. And the ones to do that kind of job are venture capital companies and private equity firms. And I think he was right.
So what then is the idea?
What startup companies need is patient capital, which is a bit of medium to long term. And that is where venture capital and private equity firms come in.
What is the idea? What is the idea behind the $45 million fund from the World Bank? Briefly, please.
I'll come to that. Venture Capital Trust Fund was set up to provide funding to SMEs through venture capital financing companies that we are a fund of funds. And so we do not invest directly to or with individual companies, but rather through fund managers. These are professionals. They actually do due diligence, selecting companies that are viable, but probably a bit riskier, but viable. So the key word here is viability.
Yeah,
and,
so we get the background information and we appreciate that. But help us understand, apart from the fund, what other initiatives has the fund been embarking on in the past few years? Briefly, please.
Come again?
Apart from the fund, what particular initiative has the fund been embarking on in the past few years?
No, the fund is our core business. And the other initiative is to get experienced fund managers in the ecosystem, as many as possible, because that is what is lacking. And then in addition to that, making sure that we are able to raise enough funds and then see these first-time managers so that they are well equipped in terms of financing. And then they can actually translate that or transfer that to investee companies. So the key word here, or the key rule here, is then getting experienced fund managers, providing them with the funding. And you mentioned the 45 million from the World Bank. And the Ministry of Finance has a program with the World Bank called Ghana Economic Transformation Program.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of companies involved in that program. And venture capital is one of them.
And we shall hope to see how this particular fund pans out. We shall hope to see how this pans out. We're so sorry, pressed for time, but we're grateful for your submission. Yao Suprimpong is Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund, helping us understand matters regarding unemployment.